Welcome to another episode on Sean Land. This is a channel we've created to foster and inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs in property, finance, and investing. Today, I have an amazing guest for you. It's actually my father. This guy is actual proper role model to me. Somebody who's mentored me my whole life and actually been really successful himself. So I want to share him today with the world. And without further ado, welcome Jeff Land.
Hello there.
How are you, Dad? You all right?
I'm okay, thank you.
You feeling good?
Yes.
Yeah, I know Dad was a little bit nervous today, but I know you're going to be amazing at this. Like you've accomplished so many great things in life so far. Like I can't believe like what your journey's been like. So I think that would be a good place to start actually, Dad. Tell us a little bit about yourself. So Dad was actually born in India and he came here when he was 10 years old. And tell us the rest, Dad.
Well, came over in 1970, went to school. A lot of racism at the time. Had a tough time, but we pulled through good. That's it, basically.
Nice. So, Dad, tell us, when did you first start working?
I started work a part-time basis at the age of 12.
12. That's ridiculous. Like for anybody who's got children out there, they're thinking 12, like you're that big, and everyone's into their iPads and phones nowadays. But you were actually where at age of 12?
We were working in Petticoat Lane in Aldgate, selling leather coats.
Wow. So was you actually a salesman, or did you just stand there and?
Yeah, we started off just helping out. And then became a salesman after, just after sales boy, shall I say, at the age of 12 and a half, 13. Then just started working and it all started from there.
Did you get paid?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we got paid.
How much was it?
I can't really remember at the time. Maybe I think about £5. And
£5.
And my father actually said, he said, now you started work, like, keep the money yourself and see what you can do with it.
What did you do with it?
I've spent a little, saved a little out of it.
What did you spend it on?
Just marathon chocolate.
Marathon. Wasn't that Snickers or something?
Yeah, that was a Snickers, yeah. So it was fun really. Earning money early, young age, and father saying, let me see what you can do with it, and make sure you save some.
What motivated you to save money?
It's my father. He drilled it into me and said saving is very important. Save some money for a rainy day, and really it all started from there.
So when you saved money, what was the outcome? Like, what did you want to buy with it once you did save? Once you started seeing some money stack up on the side.
Well, basically it just went on, and then you start buying fashionable stuff, your jumper jackets, this and that, and then you start full-time work, and that's when it really all started. With all the property side.
Right. So when you started at the age of 12, how often was you working? Was it weekends or
just weekend?
Just weekends. Okay, nice. And then did you do further education?
No.
So you stopped working at the age of 16, and where did you stop? What did you do from there?
I went into leathers manufacturing, and then from there moved on to rag trade, and then on to. Went into Ford's motor company.
Okay. Did you become a mechanic or?
No, we were just a fitter there working on a production line. And from there I got a job as a bus conductor.
Okay. And how was that?
It was quite nice. Actually, I quite enjoyed it up until today. I miss it. But we had an opportunity to get into business and we went into business.
Okay. So, yeah, this is a really good step now. So you was into part-time employed work. And then you went into self-employed work. So how did that come about? How did you get into self-employment? How did you start business? How did you know about business? Because a lot of people out there want to start something up and they're like, well, how do I do it? So how did it work for you, Dad?
We were a joint family. So it was 3 brothers and the father together. And we had an opportunity to buy a grocery shop. And we did. And I started running the shop. And this is it. That's where it all started.
How important is unity, Dad?
It's very important. It's without unity, you can't become anything.
Right.
On your own, you can't do anything.
So when people want to start up a business, sometimes they look for a partner or some sort of partnerships. Some of them can be good, some of them can be bad. What are the things to look out for?
The only person you can have a partner is a person who has got a similar personality as yourself, that you can get along. And when you get along with the people, that's when you start to grow. You can think right. 1 and 1 is not 2. It's actually 11.
Nice. Okay. So once you started the business, what did you do from there? So like you opened this business up, it's your own business now. Did you take away skills from your employed work? Did you, what was it like,
It was just nice. It's just working with the public. You just got to try and understand public, isn't it?
And how did you figure out the buying and selling aspect of it? So how did you know about profit margins? Because as you said, you didn't go to college.
Yeah. Well, we picked that up from the previous owner, who actually gave us training for 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks.
All around. This is how you buy things. This is how you mark up. This is your profit margin. This is on your profit on return. And you work your figures out, and you know exactly what you're making every month, every year, and what you're going to do with your money. And we decided to get into the properties.
What was some of the biggest problems that you encountered?
Just the family issues, really. Sometimes, you're with a family. There's certain things you just don't agree with each other, but you've got to take it like a pinch of salt and just get on with it.
Some people don't like to, as they say, take any shit. I'm not taking this, I'm not taking that, I'm not doing this. He can't talk to me like that. And I know, there was, you were one of the youngest at the whole family. How was it for you? Because I know you always tell me personally that you took a lot. And was there a benefit? Is there any regrets about that? Or how did you move forward?
Well, no, there's no regrets on it. Family is family at the end of the day. But, sometimes you just don't like to be told all the time. But having said that, being together is the only way to become something in life, which we did, and we have become something.
So what you're saying is you have to sacrifice in life.
Yes, nothing comes without sacrificing in life.
So what does money mean to you, Dad?
It don't mean anything to me at this age now. When I was younger, yes, money meant a lot to me. If I have money, I'll get this, I'll do this, I'll buy that property, I'll buy that pub. It's a thrill. It makes you feel happy that you want to do things and you're growing. So
I know you got money, Dad. You've done really well in your life, but I don't see you with a Rolex watch on. I don't see you with the Rolls Royce outside. Why don't you spend money on these things?
Well, they're just materializing. It don't mean anything. It doesn't prove me as a character. If I've got to prove anything, I've got to prove my character. I've got to prove to my children what I've done in life, how success I was, and that's it.
How important is character, Dad?
It's very important.
People don't care about what happens tomorrow. They're like, I don't care what happens tomorrow. I want to do this right now. I don't care about anybody else. I'm just going to... So how important is character to...
It's very, very important. And without character, you're nothing. You're nobody. If you don't care about others, you expect others to care for you? No.
True. A lot of people out there, Dad, are becoming entrepreneurs. They're getting into business a lot nowadays. They're getting business earlier and earlier. Technology is amazing right now. You can do drop shipping where people can buy and sell very easily. You don't even need a warehouse. You can buy something from Alibaba, get it to a virtual sort of warehouse that automatically posts it to a client, for example. There's so many businesses out there, and children nowadays are becoming more and more savvy, and they don't want to work for nobody. They want to get onto that money-making ladder as quick as they can, which is nothing wrong with that. But how important do you think education is?
Education is very important. Like they say, the old saying is, without college, there is no knowledge. So, yes, I find it's very important.
And what if somebody says, well, you're taking me away from my business now. In that 3-4 hours, I could earn more in my business and actually make mistakes in my business and learn from my business more than actually go to college or university. What do you say to that? And if anything, some people say, well, actually, You're taking me away from my business and it's costing me £10,000 a year and leaving me in £30,000 of debt, just giving it to the government when I could be making money right now. So what do you say to that?
Well, a person who is clever, who knows he's making money, he should carry on. And at the same time, the education can become part-time.
What do you get from college and uni? What do you believe that you get from these things?
Just knowledge. And basically, just you know how to talk to people and everything. And if you don't know anything, what can you talk?
Gives us a little bit of discipline as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So when you're in front of a teacher, it's timekeeping. You've got to be at your lessons at the right time, making sure that you're coming back with your homework, etc. It's just a bit of discipline.
Yeah.
What I found personally as well, when I went to university, it's not that I learned an immense amount, but it gave me structure. It gave me times where I had to work in a team. We all had to have the same sort of goal, working towards a project, for example. So yeah, like it can be important. But I think we're on the border of, if you've got a business running and you're making money and you're doing well, then carry on. There's nothing wrong with that. But as Dad is saying, he always likes a contingency plan. So he always likes a little backup. So that's something that no one can take away from you. Some sort of knowledge, some sort of, certificate that if your business went, not so well, you can walk into a shop or a business with a qualification to say, hey, have you got any positions? And I'm qualified in this sort of sector. So it's great to have some sort of backup, and especially if you're not fully productive, guys. If you're not busy all the time and you do have a few hours, there's nothing wrong to upskill yourself and do some courses, etc. Definitely. Dad, if you won £10 million, what would you do now with it?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. Basically, it will help the poor people, set up some kind of charity, and help my children.
How important is it to give back, then? How important is it to give back?
It is. It's important. For people who haven't got it, we should donate towards them. It's a gift.
Now, there's a saying called "your network is your net worth." That means the people around you is how much you're worth. I believe this is all based around the people you hang around with or people who influence you. Now, I want to ask you, Dad, who influenced you the most in your life? And tell us a little story behind it, and why they impacted you. Because I know you're very different to a lot of the other family that we have. Your ways are different. We're brought up a little bit slightly different. Not in a good way or bad way, shall I say. It's just your way. But you can see there's a difference with you. So who's influenced you in your life?
It's a guy I knew, a guy named Shadiram. I used to work for him. And whenever there was a quiet spell in the shop, we used to talk about how to get advance in life, not to lie, always be trying to do right things, and never talk about people, no negativity, just positive, and just carry on and you will achieve your goals. Just don't do wrong.
And what sort of experience did he have in his life for him to advise you? Why was he good? Why was he somebody you listened to?
He was a teacher, professor in India, came over to this country, and I happened to meet up with him in a warehouse, and we were working there. And he was my governor. So, yeah, I rate him very high. He's the one that I actually followed and told me loads of wrongs and rights. And I'm sure if he's ever listening to this, he'll be proud of me.
Yeah. Well, as we say, I'm proud of you. Like, so you're a real role model. Let's talk a little bit about the journey as we're growing up. It's not specifically to me personally, but as, sort of your right-hand sort of man in your life, you always looked upon me. I was your son, somebody who you wanted to do someone really well. What sort of things was you doing with me to help me become sort of successful? But in terms of what advice can we give to other people or young parents out there, what they need to be doing with their children, because you obviously did a really good job, because you created a mindset within me that without you even saying anything, I want to keep going every single day. I want to wake up every morning. I want to go out there and go and get it. I want to start up a new business. I want to be creative. I will get the bread and butter going. I want to save from my normal employed jobs. I want to create self-employed jobs. I want to create multiple streams of income. I'm going to such a creative state, which I haven't been, but you've created that mindset within me to always be hungry. How did you sort of do that? How can somebody replicate that? Like,
Oh, well, it's basically your own life experience, isn't it? So, what you've learned, you want to pass it on to your children. And,
how did you know how to motivate me?
well, I've just been talking general with you, hoping that it all fits in. Rather than pressuring you on it, I just mentioned it to you like a friend. And I've always took you as a friend and not as a son. And we've always got along. And I thought the only way to pass a message on to you is be like a friend to you. And you will take it in rather than telling you what to do.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
I remember being in the shop, we used to just be behind the counter together, and Dad would always be like, what did you learn from that conversation? I'm like, I don't know. And he was like, this is what he said. That's what she said. Did you notice this? Or did you notice you always giving life lessons, but it was all fun, like in the evenings and on weekends. And it would be me, you, John there. We'll have our little sort of almost little gathering. And
it's very important for a child to be beside his father and learn from his father, who has got X amount of experience. And I've noticed children of today, they're not doing that. They're not around their parents. So they're not really learning much from their parents' experiences.
how important is that?
Very, very important. I would advise all youngsters to sort of be beside their parents and learn from them, from their general experiences.
So, Dad, if you could be 25 again, yeah, you're 60 now. If you could be 25 again, what would you do differently?
I've got no regrets. I'm okay with what I did, and I'm quite proud. And I've done very well for my children as well. No regrets at all.
So we've done really well, Dad. What do you think why we accomplish what we have? I mean, Granddad came from a situation where he lost his father at the age of 3. There was war back in the country, and we moved on from that country, for example. He got, in the next few years after, he became a dentist, and he had that will to get up and do something.
Yeah.
And he ended up going to about 3-4 different countries: Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, before he came here in the late 1960s in the UK. And you seem to have that same drive, and I seem to have some sort of drive. What do you think the formula is? What do you think the formula is behind this? Right. So, Dad, you ran a shop for how many years?
34 years.
34 years. That's a long time.
Yes, indeed.
Did it ever go bankrupt?
No. I've always had a successful business.
Brilliant. So you're a successful businessman.
Yeah, I'm okay, yes.
But from there, you also built a property empire as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
So you started putting deposits on houses, etc.
Yeah.
What made you go into property?
Money. You buy one house, you got extra extra money coming in, buy the next one, more money coming, next one, and then so forth, isn't it? So.
Very good. And in your business, like, what does it take to become a successful businessman?
Don't take too many chances. Just carry on growing. That's it. Buy, and just don't go wild with your spending.
How did you make sure your shop kept going? How did you make sure you had that customer retention, that you were buying the right products that people want you to buy? How did you find all of that out?
Well, in a grocery shop, the customers will tell you themselves what they want. If you don't have it in your shop, you bring it in, you price it up, you ask the customers and the price is okay, you're happy with it, and that's it.
So it's important to listen to your customers.
Of course, very important.
What obstacles did you face in the business? You must have had loads of problems in 34 years.
So I just get some rude boys coming in the shop and just having a little tiff and teething in the shop, and then nothing major. So,
And how did you overcome these issues and problems?
well, thick and thin, you'd learn to sort of deal with the problems, talk to the youth's children, parents, and deal with the problem.
Sure. Nice. So, Dad, you know I'm starting this podcast up. Thank you so much for being a guest on here today. Really, really exciting to have you here and to have all of your support. Obviously, I know what Granddad's achieved. I know what you've achieved. I've achieved certain things on my journey as well. But now I think I've come to a stage where we're quite comfortable. Money doesn't mean a lot to us. We're not materialistic. Whether it's $1 million or $1 billion, the only thing difference to us is just that zero. It's not a lot. Like, you know, it doesn't change our life. We've got the house we want. We drive the cars we want. You know, we have everything in our lives. But what do you think of me creating this podcast? Because I'm trying to give back now. So that thing that we spoke about giving back, I really want to inspire other people, because I think, to me, the way you've taught me and the way Grandad taught me, it's easy. I don't see this to be hard at all. But you guys have obviously done something right to program me, and I'm trying to get this formula out to everybody to say, just have these little traits to do better in life. What do you think about this podcast and what we're putting out on here?
No, but that's good. It's good what you're doing, you know, teaching youngsters how to be successful in life. It's very, very important, because at a time like now, all the youngsters are doing is just phone. That's it. There's hardly any interact between parents. What are they going to learn from there? So carry on. Yes.
And how important is that relationship, Dad, with the parents and family, brothers and sisters, uncles, aunties? How important is it?
It's very important. It's a main factor in life, actually. If you haven't been around your family, then you haven't really learned much, because we learn from each other. Everyone's experiences.
Some people say, I learn off my friends, or my friends are doing this, etc. What do you say to that?
Friends, yes, you can learn from your friends, but not every friend is a friend.
Yes.
So you got to try and understand, is this guy right for me? His ways right for me? Is he a genuine person? Or is he a two-faced? Is he something in front of me and something else behind my back? So it's not easy to actually judge a person over a short period of time. Friends is like, the genuine friend will stick by you for life. Thick and thin. You're in trouble, he's there without you asking. That's what you call a friend. So if a person says, I've got 10 friends now, there's no way you can have 10 friends. Friend is 1 or 2. They're more than your brothers. You know, so...
A lot of people lack the ability to figure who's right and who's not. As you say, people are on phones a lot more now. They've lost that ability for social, interaction in front of people. So they really don't know who is in front of them. Well, what advice do you give?
What advice can you give to children who are actually just on the phone? The only person actually can get them away from that is the parents. You know, it's very important to interact with people rather than being on the phone. You're not going to learn anything from there. Your phone's not going to tell you your mistake. It ain't going to talk to you, is it? So...
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Jeff Land, my father, my dad. I thought I'd share a little piece of him with you guys today. I'm sure he'll be on our podcast a little bit later on as well again. But it's been amazing just to have his support today, for him to be with us. And I'm sure you guys can see, the generations being, of what sort of energy that we have and what sort of energy we want to give you guys and all of the gems. So thank you for joining us for another podcast, and we'll see you next week.